Hello everybody. I'm just getting ready to try to cook some chicken and probably gonna make some green eggs. I don't have any ham or anything to make with it, but I'm not a ham eater anyway. But I don't know. I'm getting hungry and I gotta make Donna and I lunch or dinner, so I have chicken thawed out, and I was gonna start up the grill or whatever, but it's just too much work because it's a charcoal grill, and I gotta go and clean it out, and I gotta wait for it to get all ready, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I am going to do another one of my on the spot, whatever. I call it trailer trash, white trash cooking, trailer park cooking, whatever. For us poor folks, you just kind of make stuff out of whatever you got around, I guess. So I'm gonna use some A1 sauce and kind of like bake this chicken, I guess, in A1 sauce. And I'm gonna make eggs, like scrambled eggs or whatever, but I'm gonna make them green, like green eggs and ham from Dr. Seuss Landing in Universal Studios. So I don't have milk, of course. Okay, we'll have to use dairy creamer. But I got this little packet of super green stuff that you're supposed to put in shakes, but of course we don't have a blender. So I'm going to use this meringue stuff or whatever. I'm going to pour it in the eggs. And Donna's probably not going to want to eat it, or especially if she knows what it is, but it'll be good for her. So I'm going to make that and see how that comes. So I think I'm going to prop you guys up, and if I can figure out how to do that, and you guys can keep me company for a while I cook here. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's see. So I used the grill wrap paper. This is not. I don't know how these people make these videos on YouTube. But, all right, so we got put the chicken. Of course, that just leaked chicken juice everywhere. That's wonderful. Hold on. I've got the coffee percolating. Turn on this water here. So I got, these are, I like the chicken cutlets, boneless chicken cutlets. I don't use, I hate chicken on the bone, and I can't stand chicken with skin on it. It makes me sick for some reason. I mean, it tastes good, but there's certain foods that make me sick. Like, I can't have chicken skin. The oil or whatever that gets on it makes me sick when I cook it. So I usually just boil chicken. Like, I'll just take chicken cutlets or chicken tenders and I'll boil them, and it's just boiled chicken for the week, and I'll use it on salads, or I'll just eat it raw. Remember, especially as a Christian and when you're poor, you don't always eat to enjoy your food. You eat to live, not live to eat, right? So you got to make that food dollar stretch. And so I try to eat healthy with all my health issues, and so I'll protein source chicken, boiled chicken. I'm fine with plain bland foods, I'm not much into spices and all that stuff. So I'm going to today try something new. I'm going to bake these chicken cutlets probably at like 350, and I'm going to douse them in A1 sauce. And let me just get this chicken juice off my hands here before I get sand out. Hold on. And it's very important, cleanliness is very important. I try to tell people all the time. I can't stand when people don't wash their hands before touching food, serving food, and then while you're cooking, while you're touching different things, you got to keep cleaning your hands. Like if you're touching chicken juice, you got to be very careful not to get the chicken juice on your towel, on your counter. You got to use Clorox cleanup and stuff to clean it up, otherwise you'll get salmonella poisoning. I have a low immune system, so I get very sick very easily, and so I need to always have. I got to be very careful. I have to make sure that I do not get everything's cooked properly and there's no germs on anything and whatever. If something's tainted, I will get food poisoning within like 30 minutes or less before anybody else. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. I have autoimmune deficiency issues, and I have, it's not AIDS, it's Hashimoto's disease and stuff, where my immune system is low, genetically low in the blood, and also on top of that, as if that wasn't bad enough, I have a lot of allergies, and my body's always fighting against itself. So I'm always in a heightened state of, you know, allergic reaction, even to my own. I'm allergic to my own body oils. Like, I'm allergic to everything. So my body's always inflamed, and, you know, I'm always sick because I always have immune system issues. But anyway, so I'm just trying to get all this chicken juice off my hands now before I touch anything else. And we're going to preset the oven to 350. And then we're going to try to make some green eggs. Green eggs so we get protein today. And, you know, I'm starving. I haven't eaten yet anything all day, and it's 3 o'clock already. So I find that when I'm hungry, I do my best cooking, come up with the best ideas. So far, knock on wood, most of my... This is A1 sauce I'm using here. I'm just going to douse the chicken in some A1 sauce and bake it. This stuff's expensive. It's like $7 for a little bottle. What's up with that? It's just steak sauce. Gosh. Anyway, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on here maybe. I try to use things that I know are healthy for your body too, like olive oil, and olive oil is very good as a substitute for many things. If you take 2 tablespoons of olive oil every day, it's supposed to help you lose weight, fight cancer. This has to go back in the fridge. If you drink 2 tablespoons of olive oil before you go out to a bar or whatever, it literally does coat your stomach, and you don't get a hangover, and you don't throw up, no matter how much you drink. And I've tested that years ago. Alright, so now the chicken has, you know, it's got the A1 sauce on it, and we're going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil just to help it cook a little bit, and add a little healthy nutrients to it as well. Olive oil is very good for you. Virgin olive oil. It's also very expensive, so use it sparingly. I put this on spinach salads and stuff like that. I really have to get myself back into eating the way I used to, and get my weight down and stuff, because my health is really bad right now. As far as I have diabetes, and I'm fat and all this stuff because of all the junk and fast food that us poor people have to eat every day in order to eat, you know. So I've been trying to cook more, eat less and cook more, and, you know, be careful. I'm going to just put a little bit of garlic powder in here, just a little bit, just for a little extra flavor. I don't want to make it gross or anything because of the A1 sauce. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of, can't believe it's not butter or whatever. So we're gonna set this to at least 350. It's a gas stove, and when that heats up, we'll put that in there. Now I'm gonna get this frying pan ready. I like to rinse it off, make sure there's no dust or anything on it. It also helps to know when, if you have a little bit of water in there, you know when the pan is warm, hot enough, it starts steaming. Alright, so I'm going to get some eggs. What am I going to make the eggs in? Let's use one of these containers here, a little plastic container. I'll crack a bunch of eggs in it. We can't drink the water around here, so we have to drink bottled water all the time, otherwise you get really sick. It's a beautiful fall day. I usually cook or whatever with ambiance. You know, I'll have music on with my YouTube or whatever, but I can't because I'm using the phone to do this live video. So we're going to crack these eggs. Alright. I don't know, we'll make maybe, we'll do 6 eggs. Eggs are cheap, so we'll get some more. We don't eat these all the time again because of cholesterol and stuff like that, but I just been in the mood for green eggs lately again. I made it a couple times over my life, usually with spinach or something. But I learned about the green eggs and ham from the Dr. Seuss story, and then we used to go to Dr. Seuss Landing all the time, me and my friend, on vacation in Universal Studios in Florida, and they'd serve green eggs. They probably use, green dye, but I like to use healthy stuff. Again, point of eating is I don't just eat because it tastes good. I eat to live, not live to eat. So I try to make sure that everything that goes into whatever I'm making has a purpose. Like it's got to have the greens and the nutrients in it somehow. And it could be fun too, it's creative to have, green eggs, and you're getting your spinach and you're getting your moringa and you're getting stuff that you normally wouldn't get, because we don't always have the time or the money to eat salads and, healthy stuff. So you got to find other ways of getting your nutrients, right? So, and be creative and have fun. Look, the key to life is love God first, love neighbor, and then try the best you can in the state that you're in, whether you're rich or poor, to enjoy life. Make fun, make everything fun. Like Mary Poppins, literally, with every job that must be done is an element of fun. Find the fun and snap the jobs again. It's up to us. I mean, I battle depression and stuff because of my life circumstances, so I have to try to ambiance and music and candlelights and whatever I can do to try to make a mood, to try to make everything into like a cool movie clip or something, like something. Try to enjoy your life, just have fun with whatever you do. If you gotta cook, you could look at it like, oh man, I gotta cook again and I gotta clean all the mess up. Or you can say, hey, let's be creative, let's put on some music. Look, it's a beautiful sunny fall day, open up the windows, let's see what we can do here. Oh, we got this green stuff, what can we do with it? Let's make green eggs and ham, right? And put on some music or make a video and make a cozy video and reach out to people, and try to just, look, the world's in a mess right now, so we're all separated and socially distanced, so these types of videos help us to get inside other people's homes and lives and be able to communicate somehow and feel like you're not alone and inspire one another and encourage one another, and it's cozy, Look for the cozy, simple things in life because the world's going to get a lot worse. Poverty's going to get worse. I mean, a lot of things are coming, right? So as Christians, we have to learn to make the best of it. We got God, right? So we're not going to worry, and then we're going to enjoy our time together, make videos, hang out, love one another, be there for one another, do something with your life. Okay, so I put the eggs in the frying pan until I dump them out. Hold on. Just throw this in here. It doesn't matter because I'm going to be if the pan's dirty with eggs, I'm going to be cooking off of it in a minute anyway once I stir these eggs up. I'm going to get my whisk out. Alright. Let's see. We're going to mash these up first. I mean, I used to have a lot of good cooking utensils and everything when I had my own home. Donna's never been a cook, so she doesn't cook unless I cook for her, so she never really had many utensils and stuff, and we have to go to the dollar store to get stuff all the time. But hey, it works, as long as it works, who cares? It doesn't need to be top notch. A whisk is a whisk, right? So we're whisking these eggs. I did 6 of them in this little plastic bowl that we recycled. And I'm going to put this green moringa stuff, whatever it is. It says here that it's a convenient way to get all your greens, and it's got a ton of different kinds of greens in here that you normally wouldn't get. You could put this in a shake. You can sprinkle it in sauce. You can, whatever you got to do with it, to enhance your food and get the nutrients you want. I'm going to pour it all in eggs here and make green eggs. Probably end up coming out more gray or brown or something, but just don't tell Donna what she's eating. She won't eat it. Alright. And I'm lactose intolerant, and so is Donna, so I'm going to stir this in here, and then I'm going to use some country creamer, which is what I use in my coffee, which is done percolating here. I haven't had my first cup of coffee yet either, so I wasn't feeling good last night and today, and a little bummed out, so like I said in one of my other videos, one of the last religious orders that I was really hopeful for rejected me, so They're being ridiculous, honestly. They really are. The church is starting to really tick me off because it seems to be no longer about following and serving Christ and tradition and, doing things for the right reasons. It seems to be more like a political, organization and country club for only certain people of, they're very picky on who they choose, and it's ridiculous. That's not Christian love. God didn't say, only convert and go out after and help and pray for those who you like. Okay, no, he said you will love, not like. You have to love everybody, and you have to love your enemies. So if he expects us to love even Hitler, then why can't I be chosen and selected why can't I be accepted into a religious order, Like, why do you hate me so much? What's so bad about Steve that, I'm not Hitler, it comes down to this. I keep hearing I'm too traditional, too rigid, too pious, too holy, too whatever, and I'm not. I'm no saint, trust me. But the point is, I'm trying to get this powder into the bowl here. The point is, that's a red flag right there that the church is changing, and they don't want to. They don't want holy rollers in there. They're not serious about their faith. A lot of these orders don't worry about prayer anymore, or rosaries, or any of the things that are important. They worry more about just getting out there in the community and, let's make sure the Mexicans are allowed to come over, and let's stop the wall, and let's do all that, whatever, all social justice garbage. And that's all important stuff. I'm telling you, it is. It's not garbage. It's just that, religious people are supposed to be about God and the church first. And then the laity is supposed to go out there under our charge, our guidance, our teaching, and do these things. But it's all, people are getting lukewarm, worldly, lazy. They're losing their faith. They act like they're holy, but there's no holiness. They look religious, but they don't have prayer in their life. So they don't understand the power of prayer. And they deny the power of prayer. Alright, so I'm using my favorite. Cheap stuff, country creamer. This is what I use in my coffee. Sometimes it tastes like paint, like paint water that you dip the paintbrush in, like turpentine. I know it's not appealing, but when you're lactose intolerant like me and you need your cream in your coffee and you want it, there's like no calories in this thing practically, and there's no fat and no cholesterol, and I have high cholesterol, so I use this stuff also as a milk substitute sometimes. I'm going to put it in my scrambled eggs here, my green scrambled eggs that has all this stuff in here. This way we get the creaminess but no lactose. I'm going to stir this up in here. I'm probably going to put a little salt in these eggs as well, because this thing needs to taste decent. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt in here, a little bit of pepper, which I usually don't use spices, but I don't know how this green powder is going to taste, so I don't want them to taste nasty. Alright. So stir that in here, a little bit more of this in there. Sometimes this doesn't work the same. You can't use this stuff in like pudding and stuff. It doesn't gel. So, alright, I'm trying to stir this stuff without, I don't have a proper bowl, I don't have a good whisk, so it's all clumpy. I really got to get a blender or something. We don't even have a electric blender or a beater, but I don't want, this stuff will spill all over, so it's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do. Trying to get powder to mix in with eggs is never really an easy thing to do anyway. So this oven is, I think, pretty much preheated. We're putting this chicken, the chicken cutlets with A1 sauce and olive oil in right now. I don't know how long it takes to cook them, but I'm gonna put them on the top rack. Should take about maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Now I'm going to preheat this pan. Let's see here. We're going to use today, I'm going to use butter flavored Pam today in place of butter. I'm going to spray the pan. I don't know why I'm doing cooking shows, but a little bit of gospel preaching, a little bit of reality mixed in with some cooking and everyday household things, This is real life, Something to watch, inspire people, give people ideas. I like to cook with my friends who are watching. I like to, I don't know, try to make the best out of every day right now. Hopefully I'll end up in another religious order. I'd really like to be a priest, like I said, but if I'm never going to be able to do that, then I pray to God to help me get my own home again, even if it's a trailer again, and a wife one day to marry. So I really don't want to live alone, and I still want to be able to minister somehow. I might just have to do it with a different platform, that's all. Alright, so this pan is hot, and I'm going to just dump this whole thing in here, like an omelet. And I'm just going to scramble them. It really looks unappealing. It looks like pond scum. Sticky, slimy pond scum. But it tastes good. And it's good for you. So, like I say to Donna sometimes, I'll cook some weird things and she'll be like, what is it? And I'll be like, never mind what it is. Just put it in your mouth, chew it quickly, and swallow. Don't worry about it. Just eat it. It's food. That's what it is. It's what's for dinner. So, let me see if I got my spatula here. Where is the spatula? I guess I gotta use this big plastic spatula. Hello everybody, Michelle, Lucy, Will Delacamera. Hey Will, what's going on? I never thought you'd watch one of my ridiculous videos. Probably just because it's ridiculous. I can already hear you right now. Alright, so this is I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a cook, I don't know what I'm doing, but the stuff turns out good, it's edible, and we need to eat, right? And it is what it is. This is life in a trailer park when you're pretty much homeless and thanking God that somebody took you in. I'm a caretaker anyway for elderly people, and so I usually have to cook for them, do their laundry, clean their house. I'm basically like a glorified maid who also bathes and toilets people and brings them to their doctor's appointments and whatever I need, whatever they need, you know? A homemaker companion type of thing. Not exactly what I had in mind for my life, you know? I wanted to be a cop when I was younger, like my dad. I ended up as a security officer. I wanted to be an actor and a model, and I ended up, doing homemaker and companion work. But first and foremost, like I always say, for the past 10, 20 years now, I'm a Christian first. And being a Roman Catholic, I'm a member of the royal priesthood anyway, even if we're laity, right? So, God always has to come first, ministry always first, people always first, and you incorporate that in every moment of every day, whether you're cooking, whether you find a way to preach one way or another, the necessity of knowing Jesus and, telling people all the things he does for you, Like I say, I like to give praise reports all the time when God does amazing things for me, and he's always helping me out. It's not always what I want, but it's what I need, and I'm happy to be alive and not in a wheelchair right now like I could have been and should be. With all my spinal injuries and tumors and all that stuff, I got more health issues than Health Magazine or Discovery Magazine, but we keep going by the grace of God, right? And we try to be optimistic in life. Yes, I'm a gloom and doom, fire and brimstone, end times preacher. Yes, because, hey Nikki, we are in the end times, but it doesn't mean that life has to stop and we have to give into depression and just everything, we still got to get up every day, cook for our families, go to work, survive in this world. It doesn't have to be gloom and doom all the time. You just know what's going on, be aware, and move on. Just keep on going. And try to love your life where you are, God's humbled me a lot because I wasn't happy unless I was driving a sports car and, making movies and had all these possibilities. One day I was going to live in a mansion and this and that, and now I don't have a home of my own anymore. And the last one, thank God, that thing was full of mold and I would fall through the floor every couple of days. And it was not good living. It was not easy living, and it was expensive. I would really like to know why I had to pay $1,200 a month to live in a trailer that didn't even have walls or doors in some of the rooms, and heat sometimes, and you could see outside in the winter. You don't want to know what it was like. It was real utter poverty. And then I got I'm going to turn this off now because these are pretty much done. They look really gray and green and nasty, but I'm sure they'll taste good. So I shut the heat off. I'm just going to continue moving these around here. Then I moved to this. I lived in a castle for a while at seminary, and I had a beautiful apartment. I mean, it was like the Ritz-Carlton, honestly. I was very surprised because I thought we'd take a vow of poverty, right? But I'm not going to complain. It was nice. Living room, everything, it was great. And all I had to do was pray and, study. And that was great. And do some ministry and do the chores around the house, cooking, cleaning, stuff. We all had chores to do, too, in the monastery. So life hasn't changed that much for me. I mean, I'm not living lavishly now. I'm living with somebody else right now in their home. And we're just trying to enjoy every day and each other's company. And, and we watch, I finally have time to watch the sunsets and the sunrises, to go to the beach more, to pray on the beach, stop and smell the roses and really enjoy the beauty of this earth, which when you're so busy with a career all the time or school and other stuff and just trying to keep the roof over your head when you're living on your own, you don't get time to live life. And not in a grandiose way where you're going out and going on vacation all the time. That's not what it's about. But when you have a chance to just enjoy the simple things, like just look at the friend that you have across the table from you and really see them and enjoy their company, and be grateful for stuff, So I'm going to show you what this nasty eggs looks like. Okay, really not very appealing, but I have a feeling it tastes amazing. Sometimes things look really gross, but they really taste good. I won't eat bugs, though. That's one thing. I'll die first. I'll eat grass. I'll eat a lot of stuff, but insects, the closest thing to an insect that I have ever eaten and will ever eat is a crab or a lobster, because we learned in science class that crabs and lobsters are actually insects. I'll give you a little history lesson here, or a little science lesson. The very first creature supposedly to ever come out of the water, out of the ocean, and on land was the scorpion, followed by a spider. And the ones who stayed behind were literally lobsters. And if you look at the back of a lobster, it's very similar to a scorpion's body. The shells of a lobster and the shell of a scorpion, the shell of a spider, all insects. All that exterior exoskeleton is made out of a substance called chitin. Chitin. It makes up shells. It makes up exoskeletons. All of these, I guess, invertebrates or whatever, they're all made out of the same stuff. So when you're eating a lobster and a soft-shell crab, you're biting into a giant scorpion or a giant tarantula, really. And once I learned that, I used to love those things, and I stopped eating them because I'm like, that's disgusting. And it really is. And if you watch these Aborigine videos of people in the jungles on National Geographic, you'll see them taking these giant scorpions, these big black king scorpions, sticking them on a stick over the fire, cooking their liquid meat, and then it turns into like a meat, like lobster. I heard it even tastes like lobster. Or they'll take these giant dinner plate-sized tarantulas, and they'll cook those up, and they'll eat them like crabs. And they say it tastes like crab. I'm not going that far. That's disgusting. I have arachnophobia. And I'm not that desperate. But hunger will make you do crazy things, I guess. So we have the eggs ready. We are, the chicken looks like it's cooking quite quickly. So that's good. Maybe another 10 minutes and it'll be safe to eat. I don't like it dried out. And I'm just kind of glad now. I'm probably have to go clean out the grill, so if we have to use it later or whatever. We have a charcoal grill from the neighbor who passed away. But that, again, charcoal is not cheap. And neither is the lighter fluid, and it's a real big process, I found out. I miss my beautiful $300 gas grill that I had last year that I sold with my home. It was a lot easier to cook and turn on the propane and then just shut it off. And the charcoal's a real pain in the butt, and it's a fire hazard, especially around here. But I'm going to show you around here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, trailer park. And this is home right now. It has been all year, since February. This blue trailer here is my neighbor and friend Ralph, who passed away a couple weeks ago. So it's vacant now. They're probably going to condemn it and destroy it. It's really bad inside. A lot of people here live in terrible trailers and stuff because they just can't afford to fix them, It's like once you end up in the trailer park, you're stuck here because it costs just as much as a house or a condo sometimes to support. We're paying $510 a month, and that's like one of the cheapest parks around here. You're paying like $510 a month just to rent the lot. Now you have to take care of everything exterior. They finally just paved. It's been years. This was all just paved. They didn't do a great job, but they gave us some gravel and pavement finally, because it was really bad with potholes and stuff like everywhere and just mud. And so I'll just take you for a walk around the park. I'm just going to go get Donna's mail for her so she doesn't have to walk to the other end of the park to get her mail, because the mail is all the way on the other side of the park. And, you know, she has trouble walking and stuff, so let me do her a good Samaritan deed here. Alright. So anyway, she's sleeping right now, otherwise we'd be eating, but she's about to wake up soon, so she can wake up to eggs and chicken. Anyway, so, yeah, it cost me, I'll show you what I used to live in. This was mine over here, this blue one, and it looked a lot better when I lived here. This guy really messed it up, but this blue one right here had lavish gardening all around because I was a landscaper, and I sold all the plants before I left. I liquidated everything, but this was my home last year, and I miss it to some extent, but I don't miss it because it needed another $30,000 worth of work. I bought it for 21,000, and then I had to dump another 30,000 into it, and it was still not livable. So this is what they did to it so far. Yeah, okay, enough said. Anyway, let's go this way. So yeah, it was costing me with about $100 and something a month for insurance, for home insurance, which is mandatory. It was costing me $100 and something for my car insurance, plus a $300 car payment because I had to get a new car, and then because the other one crapped out. And then it cost me, gosh, it was like $700 to fill that tank for kerosene. For heat, and then you have taxes, which was like $300 twice a year, and then I had to pay I didn't have cable or internet because I just couldn't afford it. They kept turning it off, so I did without, just used my smartphone. For a while I didn't even have a smartphone until right before I went to seminary, because you need it now. This is our mailbox area. This is the middle of the park, and I don't know if you can see it all, but what else did I have to pay? I had to pay, the electric bill was always over $100 and something a month, and I hardly ever used it. But you know, the furnace would never shut off when it was cold, and it was always cold. And then the air conditioner units when you had them, and even fans and stuff. So between the electric, the insurance, the rent, the car insurance, I mean, I was paying between $1,200 and $1,500 minimum a month, and I had no creature comforts, and that's not including gas or extra fixing things up when they break, which was constant. It's just tough. It's hard to live in Connecticut. Everything's just so darn expensive for no reason at all, and then you get slammed with taxes on everything for no reason at all, so that Pelosi and Biden and people like that can have a luxury yacht again and multiple mansions, and the rest of us have to live like this, like a typical socialist, communist, poor third world country that they're turning America into. And we have to just smile and say, "Thank you, sir. Can I have another?" as they keep slapping us and screwing us over. But anyway, once you get into poverty, you're lucky to even have this, because from here, it gets worse. From here, you end up in a homeless shelter, and there's no room in the homeless shelter. So, like I was told, I'd have to go live in the woods or live under a bridge for the winter. So, thank God I have Donna right now. Again, people say, "Oh, you did it to yourself." No, I did not do it to myself, okay? I was a person, an intelligent person with many big hopes and dreams, and I acquired quite a few of them. But things in life always just seem to happen. Illnesses, injuries, accidents, financial problems, deaths in the family, just tragedy after tragedy, job loss, strikes, stuff that just constantly happened. And so you get there, and then you're there for a little while, and then you fall. You own a home, and then you're losing it. You know, you get into seminary, and then they run you out. You become you start signing big $1 million movie contracts, and then you get too sick and need a surgery, and you have to cancel, and you blow your career, you know. Or your father's battling leukemia and he's dying as the agent's calling you and offering you the big one, the big job. And you just can't take it because it comes down to family and, God, or money and success. So I am in this boat because I have been trying to live the life of a true Christian, which costs me dearly, and at the same time trying to make the right choices, putting others first, and God and others first. And so that means that I don't have time to be wealthy and do what I want to do, And like I said, I'm not complaining. It's just sad, I never got a chance to really live the American dream. And as soon as I had it within my grasp, it was somehow taken. But this isn't a complaint. God is doing these things, I believe, to show me that He's always there with me, no matter what. And I'm grateful to still be alive and not in hell as I probably deserve. So I've lost most of my family and friends already, and I hope they made it to heaven, but probably not, judging by the way they live their lives. And so I'm just giving you a little tour of the house here. This room I turned it into a library, and now it's a storage room again for her because there's just not much, it's not finished, and we can't finish it. This is the dining room kitchen. We finally got a washer and dryer used from my stepmother. She was going to give them to me for my home, but then I went to seminary and stuff, so we still have to pay, she's paying to have them hooked up. This is the bathroom. This is the room I've been staying in. I'm still living out of bins and stuff, because it's not really, I can't really move in permanently, because it's not my house. So she's letting me stay here, but she doesn't want me to get too comfortable, because she wants me to get out on my own and get my own place as soon as possible. And she was hoping that would have happened months ago, but now she's like, on the fence of, don't leave, you can stay here as long as you need to, and that's great, but I don't want to either, if you know what I mean. I really want to still go and serve the Lord and work for the church and be a priest and continue my education and or at least be a religious brother, and when I say at least, I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying, here's Donna. She sleeps through anything. She's taking her usual 5-hour nap in the day. Hey, hello, dinner's ready. I made eggs, I'm about to have some because I'm starving, I haven't eaten all day. So whenever you get up, I got chicken cooking, it should be done soon, and we have green eggs. Alright, don't ask. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to eat, guys. I'll talk to you for a little while longer while I'm getting my food ready here. But yeah, like I said, I'm not in a good spot right now, but I'm learning humility. I'm learning that as long as, I'll turn you guys around here, as long as we have what we need, we don't always get what we want, but we get what we need. A former boss, an owner of a company, used to say that, and I hated him saying that to me because it was so annoying, because there's a multi-millionaire who's never been in want in his life and likes to say, you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. Where's my Mercedes? Anyway, whatever. God bless him. He's still probably like that. But me, I always had to work hard for everything, and no matter how much people say, you don't work, because if you worked hard, you would have all these things, and what's wrong with you? Why can't you ever keep a job? Because I have a lot of health issues. Why can't you, live with your family? Because they kicked me out on the street and don't want anything to do with me. Sold the house out from under me and gave me $20,000 to put towards a rundown garbage trailer that wasn't fit for anybody to live in. There's a lot of reasons why. I'm a good person. I've always been a good person, by the world standards anyway. Not by God's, because God is a very just judge, and He wants perfection, He wants purity, God's standards are a lot higher than our standards. But by the world standards, I'm an average good person, caring, good Christian, churchgoer for years, care about people, shirt off my back type of person, whatever. Also, some rich people that I know a lot of millionaires, honestly. Sometimes they'll give you a $100 gift card or whatever, but they could do so much more for you, and they have all this real estate and whatever, but they have this idea of, we can't just help you because then we'd have to help everybody, and God helps those who help themselves, and all sort of nonsense that's not even in the Bible. And they give you $20 or $100 and they say, and they feel like they're doing you a great favor. And to us, that is a good favor. It's a lot of money, but it only feeds you for a week, and I don't know. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that unless you're in these situations, you're not going to understand. And it's not easy to get out by making an honest gain. I mean, if you're going to play the stock market, you got to have money. If you're going to sell drugs and stuff to get yourself through college so you can one day be a lawyer, well, then I guess, yeah, you're going to, like Obama did and many politicians and some people I know. But you know what? If you're going to do it God's way, you're probably going to be stuck. I'm trying to figure out what I need to set the table. You're probably going to remain in poverty. But that's kind of God's point. Because it's not saying that you can't be rich and go to heaven, but blessed are the poor. Those are the ones who are going to inherit the kingdom. And the humble and the meek and the ones who are dependent on God all the time. Not on themselves and not on money, not on man. And, God's economy, God's kingdom is very opposite of this world. And it's hard for people to swallow. They don't want to. I can see why they don't want to be a Christian. Not a real one. Because it's most of your day goes to helping others and praying and praising God and living a strict life. And you don't get to go and masturbate and have sex and watch pornography and have girlfriends and cohabitate and all these things that everybody does every day. And they're enjoying it. But if they knew that it's like a credit card with a hefty price tag. And when you die, you're not going to be able to go back and fix it. And you're going to end up in hell for eternity. And suddenly all these things, I don't care if you lived 100 years as a multimillionaire and had everything you could ever want and just enjoyed your life, you're going to burn for eternity because of it. Now, is it worth it? I guarantee you anybody in hell would give up anything they ever did that got them there instantly. They would all say that. This is what we did to get here, and we wish we never did it. So be thankful that you're still alive, because every day you're still alive, you still have a chance to repent and do things right before it's too late. But once it's too late, which is at any second, you never know. Drop dead, a heart attack, aneurysm, car accident, whatever. When God calls you home, and everybody has a set time that only He knows, it's over. So I am blessed that God has been merciful and patient and loved me enough to give me chance after chance and save me literally from the dead multiple times. But it's tough. I mean, He's really got to teach me humility and stripping me of everything and being completely dependent on Him. Now, some wise cracks will say, oh, well, if you're really dependent on God, then why is it that everybody else has to feed you and give you gift cards and help you? And because God said, those are my hands and feet down here. What do you want him to just make $100 bills fall from the sky? It's got to come from somewhere, right? So he expects people to share what they have, and He blesses people so that they can be a blessing to others. And that's how this works. We're supposed to be a family, a kingdom, and we help one another. We live for God and for one another. And so if you see somebody that's in need of something, whether it's a word, a prayer, financial help, clothing, whatever, do it, because that's what we're supposed to do. And if the world operated that way instead of selfishly, nobody would be homeless or hungry or in wants of anything, because we'd have neighbors who behave like family towards each other and friends, and we would never steal from each other, hurt from each other, or be jealous of each other. It sounds like a socialist plan, right? See, here's the thing about socialism. Let me just tell you this. Don't be fooled. Marxism, socialism, communism, all the same thing, all satanic. They will tell you that this is their goal, to everybody to be the same and equal and share the wealth and all that. Yeah, okay, but that's not what happens. They get you all to give up your capitalism and your freedom and everything, and then you are completely dependent on the government for everything. And then they'll ration everything out. And if they decide to give you a cup of rice a week, that's what you're getting. And everybody's the same, right? We're all equal. That's what we want, right? You don't want that. Because you'll never have a chance to have more so you can bless other people, or less, or whatever. You have no freedom at all. You are a slave. You are an Egyptian slave again, working for them. Then they will kill you if you do not do what they say, or throw you in a FEMA camp. It'll be like Nazis and Hitler all over again. And trust me, you don't want it. It sounds like it's good for a lot of lazy people who don't like being poor or who don't want to have to work for themselves and this and that. And, oh, great, the government's really helping me, giving me free stuff. And yeah, okay, but they're also getting rich. See, while we're all poor, they're living like Pharaoh in Egypt. You see, that's what's going to happen, just like they're doing already. Because it already is a communist, socialist government that we're living in. Look at the way things are structured with the taxes and everything. We're already slaves. And the guys at the top who own the companies and run the government, they're driving yachts and Mercedes and private jets and stuff. Why? Because of your taxes. Because you are They have a share in every company, in every stock, in everything. They don't have to work. They go there and pretend that they're playing politics and get on TV and say, oh, we're going to pass these laws which only benefit them and their cronies. And the rest of us down here are struggling and literally, we wouldn't even have so many illnesses in this world if we weren't stressed out all the time trying to just keep a roof over our heads because everything's so ridiculously expensive. So that's why Jesus said, I came to set you free. But it's going to be an adjustment. You're going to have to come out of the world, which what he means is off the grid living for the most part, to be dependent on him and your brothers and sisters in Christ, which you should have a lot of, which we don't, but we should have a lot of, right? And then you'll be okay living in poverty because he's like, don't think like the world. If you master poverty, some of the happiest people, healthiest people are poor. And they'll give what the little they have to someone else because they know that they'll get it back. You know what I'm saying? They are happy because they can enjoy the world, their freedom. They're not going to work 9 to 5 every day and filled with taxes and bills, and they can just live. They can love God and love neighbor and be with their family. And yeah, it's a tougher way of living because the world makes it tougher. But if we went back a couple hundred years and everybody was living like the Amish and they all took care of one another and everybody had, that's not socialism. That's how it's supposed to be. That's kingdom living, you know. But it's never going to be that way because people don't have love of God or neighbor, so they're not getting God's help. And they don't want to help anybody else but themselves. And so they're stingy and, I got to get mine and, work for your own and this and it's all backwards, man. Learn how to be a real Christian, how to live simply as a Christian. Learn to do without stuff. Be grateful for what little you have and you'll have more. And even what you have you'll feel like a wealthy man. Because your wealth is not measured in... I had to learn all this because I was like the world too, and I thought I had to appease my family by being a cop or like my dad or having a 6-figure income or becoming a celebrity in Hollywood and, living the American dream. But then when I started walking with God, I realized, no, this is going to drag me right down to hell. It's like an anchor tied to my leg, and when I die, it's going to pull me right down to hell. I want to be free from this. I was only doing it. I was only being a celebrity and an actor and all that stuff because I was always told I was ugly and I'm a loser and I've never amount to anything. So I said, want to bet? Or my family always wanted me to be something better, and they were ashamed of me. They didn't want this. So I did these things for them. So one day I could be wealthy enough to support them. And they wouldn't have to, they could retire and not have to worry, and I could finally come through for them and say, see, I did it, I became something, now I can help you, now we can all spend more family time together, and you don't have to worry about debts and bills and surgery money, and it didn't work out that way. God had other plans. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and I had good intentions, but it was not for me, it wasn't for God, and it wasn't for everybody, it wasn't for the kingdom that I was doing those things, it was a worldly mindset. So like Jesus had to say to Peter one time, get thee behind me, Satan. You're thinking like the world, not as God thinks, right? So I'm learning a lot. The only thing that stinks is that I really figured that by 40 I'd be a priest or in seminary, right? Which I was for a stint, but I really thought that he was teaching me all of this stuff. And to form me into a modern day saint like I asked for many, many years ago, and which is important for the world and for me to get to heaven, and I thought I'd be somebody, a minister or a preacher or whatever, but I guess I am already. It's just, and maybe I'm reaching more people the way I'm doing it now than I would if I was in church with all those rules and classes and your time is not your own and, and then when you finally get ordained and you're in a parish or whatever, now you have to obey the authority and you really can't preach what you want to preach like I can because you got to do only what they tell you to do. And so, yeah, I can see how this benefits God's kingdom these days more than if I had my dream. So I don't know where we're going now. I am still brokenhearted and not, I guess I have to admit, a little upset or disappointed with God because He knows what I want. He knew my heart was so set on being a priest and being in religious life, even being a brother. I'm like, okay, I'll be a brother. I'll be a janitor. Can I please live back in a monastery? Like, I want that. But I don't know where we're going, and it might not be good. It might be a terrible death. I have no idea, but I got to think long term. Wherever we're going with the Lord, it's going to get me to heaven. Unless I screw up and decide I'm done and go off on my own again and take a different detour. he's got the eternal best in mind for me and for others, and not maybe what I want. And he always, if you ask God for a glass of water, he gives you an ocean. He never gives you just a little glass of water. Like he can't. He's a great father who's got so much to give that he can't wait to give you something. So if you ask for water, he's going to give you a Poland Spring truck. You know, if you ask for, he always gives you better. Ask low. Shoot low with him so he can bless you higher. But if you ask for great things like, Lord, I want a mansion, and it's got to have, you know, crystal chandeliers, and I want a Mercedes, he's going to be like, yeah, right, here's a box. Be happy to have that, you know? And so that's how he is. So don't ask for too much. Be humble and trust in him. And that's the hardest part of this, is being up and then being down, and having much and then having nothing, and up and it's just like, oh my gosh, this yo-yo effect. It's like, oh gosh, I just want a normal, stable life, but you can't with being a Christian, because you got to be mobile. You don't know where he's going to send you next. And that's the part of it, like Jesus, like the apostles, who didn't even have a pillow to lay their head on, right? Or a home of their own or whatever. And so, but God provided. Some of these people were provided by birds. Birds would bring them bread when they were hungry, literally. And that's what God wants. Those are the people who are closest to him. And those are the people who have a bigger job on earth. I mean, yeah, I can do a lot of great things as a police officer, or a lawyer, or maybe a surgeon. But it is more important for the eternal soul of people. So what I'm out here trying to do is get them to heaven and be an example of that, and give them reasons to have faith. And, you know, and I know that I'm not good at it. I grumble and complain too much, and it kind of ruins things when they're like, oh, Steve, yeah, we can't wait to be like you. You're always saying how sick and fat and ugly you are, and how poor you are, and how miserable. Yeah, I know. Got a bad attitude. I'm working on it. It took me 40 years to get where I am. Give me a break, okay? Hopefully I'll have another 10 to 30 years to master this, but I'm getting there. And you know what? I'm real. I tell you like it is, how I really feel, day by day. You know, one step at a time, one day at a time. That's all I can do for you guys, is be honest and real, not just wear a habit and preach and be fake and then go and molest some child behind the scenes. Like that's not me. I will tell you when I screw up, and I will tell you when I'm blessed. I'm doing the best I can. I'm a real person. I'm just trying to be a good Christian and get to heaven myself, and I'm hoping that I can encourage others to do the same. And I also know that there's a lot of people in my boat who are homeless or almost homeless, or, you know, struggling with all kinds of illness, depression. Their families have abandoned them. They feel like killing themselves. They feel like, I've been there. I tried it years ago, and thank God he stopped me. You know, like I know what it's like. I've been a whore. I've dabbled with, I've done everything wrong. And so I'm also paying the price, because another thing that people don't realize is you're going to pay one way or another. God is a merciful God, and he'll get you to heaven, but you have to pay still. There's jail time, whether it's purgatory, whether you're going to suffer in life. So when I came to God, I was in a very good place, good looking. Everything was happening in the world for me, and I still wanted God. And then he had to take everything away, and then I had to start paying the price. The bills started coming in for those sins, you know? And so it's like, okay, I must suffer now, because suffering purifies. Suffering is, I either suffer now or I suffer in hell. I don't want to be in hell, so let's get it over with now. Pay the price. Try to be joyful through it all. Like, oh Lord, I'm in so much pain right now. I want to scream, but let's smile and be thankful because I'm not in hell right now. Right? Could always be worse. So I think that's the whole point of this, humility. You know, who cares if you're ugly or fat? Who cares if you're rich or poor? Who cares? It's not, God don't care about that. He cares about your soul. I could be really gross on the outside and living in a rundown trailer or a dumpster, but you know what? My soul might be sparkling like a diamond. So looks are deceiving. You know, understand how God works. It's not always going to be like what the world thinks is great and blessed. You should be afraid, honestly. If everything's going great for you in life, maybe God's got a plan, but if you screw up, you're in trouble, because like say you have millions of dollars. To those God gave more is expected. So you better be helping a lot of people. You better be giving almost everything away to the poor, or filling those mansions with homeless people so they have a place to sleep. You know, you better be doing that, because otherwise that's going to be an anchor that's going to bring you to hell, because you can't take that with you when you go to heaven. So you don't want to ask for a lot of stuff, because a lot more is expected of you when you have money, fame, and power. But when you're a nobody like me now, you're not going to be as expected because you can't really do as much because you're dependent on God and others yourself, right? So it's kind of a win-win situation in some ways. But it stinks to be down here too. I would rather be able to be a lender, not a borrower, and I've been there, and I'll probably get there again one day, maybe not. Whatever God's will is, you get to a point where He has to break you down, and you feel like that's it, I'm gonna die, and then you just say, Lord, Your will be done, not mine. I give up, Uncle, like please, I'm not gonna fight you anymore. I can't do it. What do you want? Please, what do you want me to do? Just take over because it's probably gonna stink. It's probably gonna require a lot of suffering, but in the end, it'll be worth it. Because right now, this stinks, and I don't want to be on your bad side. I don't want to be alone in suffering. At least I'd be with somebody and suffer. At least I know I have the Lord, and His suffering, it has merits, and it's good. You know, I can use it for the conversion of others. I don't want it to be a waste. So, yeah, I had a lot to learn and a lot more to learn, but we're getting there. You know, we're getting there. I will never be a saint that everybody knows and makes statues of, and I don't want that. Years ago, I would have wanted that. I don't want that anymore. I just want to get to heaven, and I want peace between me and my loved ones, and I want us all in heaven one day so we can just be safe and happy. We'll have all eternity with each other to talk and, you know, get things right. But in the meantime, down here, you know, I could really care less about this world much anymore, worldly things. I just need what I need, and I want to focus on working for God and getting there, and that's it. And it took a long time for God to get me in that place. And I literally had to just stop fighting Him and just say, it is what it is. And so what people think of me. And so what that I live in a trailer. Thank God I have that, you know. And so what if I'm ugly. And so what if I'm sick. So what? And you know, you get used to being in pain all the time too. So what? That's life. It could always be worse. So I went from the glass half empty type of person to glass half full. So we still have some, you know, be happy. So... But, man, the breaking process. So maybe my ship will come in one day. Maybe I will be. I don't know. But you know what? There's something awesome about not knowing either. I kind of like leaving it all up to the Lord. My stepmother would hate me for this. She'd say, you need to have a plan and, you know, you need to stop having God do everything for you and take care of yourself and this and that. But it's nice to go to bed and say, you know what, Lord? I don't need to know how you're going to do it. I know I need $500 and I know it's coming. I know I asked you for it, so it shall be. I don't need to know who, where, when, how. I just know that you're going to take care of it, and that's it. And it happens. So what am I complaining about? What do I have to complain about? Does He not feed me, give me what I need, give me life, everything I need when I need it? He's never late and He's never early. I think He's late. I start panicking. He likes to wait till 11:59 before showing up at midnight, and it's just like, Lord, you know I needed this before midnight. Did you not get it in time? Then shut up. Okay. You know, so he's awesome in that way. You just have to really empty yourself out. You have to be empty of self and filled with Him. There's no room for Him in here if it's all about us and worries and anxieties and fears and what the world thinks, what we want. And you literally have to get to a point where it's like, Lord, you know my thoughts in my heart. You know that I'd like that house and that car and this wife and or this career or this. But what do you want? And it's usually exactly opposite of what you wanted. But you'll get what you need. And you'll get to heaven if you follow His way. So, listen, when you get to heaven, you're not even going to remember this life, because I'm already hearing from people who are there and from the Bible that in heaven you're walking on streets paved with gold, so money's nothing to you because everything's made out of diamonds and gold anyway. So, and it's everybody's treasure to enjoy, and you don't need to spend it. It's yours forever. You're gonna have mansions. You're gonna live in a mansion that God knew every thought you had. He knows that, okay, if He gave you the option to build a mansion or a castle for yourself, He already knows every detail that's gonna go into it. What you would choose, what patterns, He knows. It's already there waiting for you. Like, He knows it's gonna, because you have to live in that thing for eternity, right? So it's got to be so special and amazing that you're never gonna get bored. Never going to want to change the drapes. Think of it. You can't imagine that now, but in heaven, everything is so perfect and awesome and beautiful. I'm telling you, it's not a story. Because God lives there, and it's going to be awesome. Because if He's there, it's got to be, right? So you're going to be there with Him. And so you'll have it. You'll have it. So it doesn't matter if you live in a rundown trailer right now for 40, 50, 60 years. So what? For all eternity, if you get there, You're going to be living really wealthy and good. So who cares? It's just, what's a few more years? Your 40, 50, 60, 80 years of life down here is nothing but a drop of water in an endless ocean. A blink of an eye compared to eternity. 1 second on a clock. Come on, it doesn't seem like that while you're going through it, but when you look back, it's like, wow, life just wow. I mean, I can't believe I'm 40. Look at me. Like just the other day, I was working with Channing Tatum. I was good looking. I had a totally different career. The sky was the limit. I mean, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, what? Who is this? What is this? Everything's sagging, and I'm like, oh man, And it's like I cannot believe. But then when I sit back and I realize how much has happened over the past 40 years. And I'm like, wow, time goes by like that. And I also believe I'm going to start eating these cold green. They're not boogers. It's eggs. Anyway, when I look back, oh gosh, it doesn't taste good. I guess I'm going to be eating these today. It tastes like spinach, and she doesn't like spinach. It tastes like, yep, like all the grass clippings, whatever. I like that kind of stuff because I know it's healthy. If it doesn't taste good, it's probably good for you. So anyway. Like I was saying, in heaven everything's worth it. We just have to get through this life. And I'm trying to do what the Spirit puts on my soul to tell people. Get right with God. That's all you need to focus on. Your only job that you were created for was God and others. And when you do that, you master the law. And you'll go to heaven. And you'll be a saint. But it is going to be tough. Don't think that it's always going to... He will give you consolations and rewards and stuff along the way. Yeah. There's good days. But you have to learn, and I had to learn, to look at the simple things and see things the way God sees them. Like, right now, I mean, this is an ugly view. I'm going to show you. I think it's an ugly view, right? But there's something cozy about that. The sunlight. The fact that it's not cold in winter yet. Perfect temperature. Fresh air. The birds are still chirping. Like, it's a good day. I got food. I'm talking to you. I'm doing my ministry. I'm only 40. I'm not 80. I feel better today in some ways. Not as much pain and illness as the past couple of days. Life is good right now. I mean, for my state in life. So, I think we need to start just focusing on what good is left in the world and make the beauty, make the good, make the happy moments all the time with your kids, your wife, your family. Love where you are and make the best of your situation. If you live in a cardboard box, then draw on the inside and do what you gotta do to better anything you have. And as you get up out of these situations, things could be better. But you might be there for a long time. What else can you do? You gotta live, right? You gotta live until the time where your heart stops, right? So you can sit there and be depressed and fuss, and you're gonna go through that and be miserable, but then you can sit there and say, okay, there's got to be something good right now. Like, I'm not in hell. I'm not dead. There's something. Find that something and make it your joy. Otherwise, life's going to stink most of the time. It really is. And if you're always looking and envying, that's why envy is a sin. Because if you're looking at what your neighbors have and wishing you had that or that money or that car or this, or wishing you had better, you're never going to be happy. And rich people, they're not happy because no matter what they have, I need another mansion because I'm bored with this one. And if I can have this one, I got to have a bigger one. And I mean, they're always going to want, because they're trying to fill this void that only God can fill and only simplicity can fill. That's why you can give them all the money in the world, everything they want, all the sex, all the best of everything now that the world has to offer. And Satan will do that for some people. But they're never going to be happy because they don't have God and they're not going to heaven. And so, don't you just want to be... I just want to be happy. And I'm learning now that the reason I wasn't happy most of the time in my life is because I didn't get my way. I didn't get the house I wanted. The room wasn't the color I would rather have. If I got a car, it wasn't the interior I really wanted. You're always going to make yourself miserable. But if you start looking at the glass half full type of mentality and be like, okay, I have this at least, and just try to enjoy. And there's a hornet in here, of course. It just went out the door. Okay. So, try to just enjoy what you do have, even if it's not yours. Where you are. Better phrased, live in the moment. Every saint has learned that yesterday's over. There's no going back. There's no fixing it. It's done. Don't dwell on it. Tomorrow's not here yet, and it will have worries of its own. So there's no point in worrying about tomorrow, what you're going to do, or say, oh, tomorrow we're going to do this and that. Have a plan if you want, but tomorrow might not work out the way you expect. It usually doesn't. You might be dead tomorrow. You might be making all these plans, and God's like, yeah, right. At midnight, you're going to have a massive heart attack and stand before me in judgment and spend eternity in hell or heaven. And so, yeah, go make those plans about what you're going to do tomorrow and whatever. But did you ever bother asking me, God, what I want and how you're supposed to spend your time? You know, we need to be grateful. So all we have is just now. We have this present moment. I'm choosing to use these present moments right now to preach to somebody who might need it, to do my job that I promised God I would do, whether I'm in seminary or not, whether I'm a priest or not. And in that way, he gets glory and praise, and I'm doing something useful and good. I have a purpose in life. And, you know, maybe hopefully making someone else's life or soul better, eternity better. And, yeah, what was I saying? I'm losing my track because our cat is snooping over there. I don't know if you can see her, but she still can't get over the fact that the guy and his dog is gone, and so she doesn't have to fear anymore. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we have to be happy. All we have is now. You got to live in the moment. That's it. It's all about just living in the moment, because you don't have control over anything but right now. That's all you have control over, and it is limited. So learn to just, when you're in the ring with Mike Tyson, keep getting back up, but it's okay to be down for the count and just accept what is. And then that leaves the possibilities open. But when you get God involved in your life, you might not know what tomorrow's going to bring and stuff, but you know that it could be awesome. It might be awesome. Like, you don't know what he's got planned for you. And his plans are always better. So we have to let go of the wheel and let God drive and let him live in us and through us and do what he wants, because he had a plan. See, we keep forgetting. We think that we belong to ourselves. But God created each one of us for a plan and a purpose, right? And he knows what he wanted to do with us. But we have free will to constantly say yes or no and to go off track, right? His will is always best, because it's like, okay, like if I create a boat, I create it for water, right? And if it's always parked on dry land, it's useless. It's a boat, but, you know, it's not exactly what I intended it to do. So each one of us has an important role. We're all unique, and we have something we need to do for God and for neighbor. Not ourselves. It's not about us. Get yourself out. Get out of the way. It's not about you. It's not about you, Steve. It's about God. It took you 40 years to realize that. And then you're free, because you don't have all this pressure of things you want to do that's probably impossible, or you got to work so hard to achieve. Don't get rid of all your goals and dreams and all that stuff. Listen to what God has placed in your heart. What does he want? He'll give you a new goal or dream, and then work on that. And he'll walk you through one day at a time. You don't need to we're always in a rush to know where we're going right away. Or we want instant gratification. We want to be there already. It's like kids in the backseat of a car. You're driving from Connecticut to Florida, and 5 minutes later, we there yet? Are we there yet? Wait. 24 more hours and you'll be there. You know, like, you're going to have to wait. So, man, there's a lot of wisdom that I'm learning, but, man, I had to take a lot of hard wax to get that wisdom. And I just hope it's going to be helpful. I mean, it's probably only going to help get me to heaven, but I'm hoping to share what I learn and experience with others so that they'll get to heaven as well. So please go enjoy your life in a Christian way. And honestly, you'll find that if you really master the Christian life, you are much more happier than you were when you were free to sin and do whatever you wanted to do. You know, trust me. It's going to take a little adjustment, but less really is more. Less is more. Don't add, subtract. You don't need a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of things to be responsible for, to dust off, clean, take care of, worry about being stolen, maintain. Less is more. Simplicity. God and people, family, just enjoy whatever you have. Find joy in the simple things in life. Think about the Quakers, the Amish people, the tribes, the Indians. They were happy because it was just simple. They just did what they had to do. Go get food, okay, enjoy making it. Italian people. Look at old Italian women when they're canning vegetables and stuff with their family, and their whole family gets involved, and they're making, jars of sauce and stuff. And it's the simple little things. They grew their own garden, they're proud of it, and now they know they're going to have awesome tasting fruits and vegetables, and now they're making cans of stuff that's going to last for the winter. And they're enjoying that simple things in life just with their family. I mean, that's so beautiful and awesome, and we're losing that now because when we want something, we got to go to Subway or McDonald's or whatever, or TV dinner, or got to go to grocery store and make it something that somebody else grew. And it's just, you can make the best out of it, which is what I try to do. But I really wish I had an old school Italian family again. And I miss those times with my grandmother making, jarring and canning stuff from scratch and growing stuff in the garden and taking care of the garden with my dad. And my little chihuahua would go and always pick the green beans off the plants. He loves green beans. I look back at my life and I miss those memories, and I would like to recreate them the best I can now. Some things can't be recreated, but some can. Like if I became a husband and father, I can teach my wife and kids those things that I learned growing up, and we can have it again together, and keep it going. And if I'm a priest, well, then I want to be able to use everything that my forte, my passion, my area of expertise is God and religion and the Bible. And even though I haven't even gone to seminary yet, think about how great I could be one day if I actually got a chance to go to seminary and complete it and become ordained. I mean, I already know a lot now, but I know even more. And so I want that. I want that because I've always been eternally minded, not worldly minded. And I know for a fact that there's ghosts, there's heaven, there's hell, there's demons, there's angels, there's God. I know all this stuff. I've dealt with it. I've seen it. I've seen it in my life. When most people were playing basketball in high school, I'm getting thrown around my room. Like Padre Pio, got stuff. I mean, you have no idea what I've been through. Why was I so odd in high school? You don't know what someone's going through at home. You don't know what their personal life is like. You have no idea that you just didn't like me because I was odd. You didn't know why. But you had no idea how much I suffered. And then I had to go home and go to school every day and get picked on by people on top of it and want to kill myself when I came home. And a couple of times I almost did. Came very close because of people bullying me and stuff, and I just couldn't handle it. I'm like, Lord, the devil's attacking me. I got ghosts showing up in my room. A friend Eric drowned years ago, and he came into my room several times and scared the crap out of me. I had to pray for him. I mean, you have no idea. And then people watch TV and stuff. Most of the stuff that you see on TV is actually real. It's not fiction. Even those horror movies, and I've been in some. It's real, And so you think it's just entertainment. Oh, I want to be scared, so let's go put on this movie about ghosts. It's all fun and games until it's happening to you in the middle of the night when you're all alone in your room, or you're with your girlfriend and the bed's levitating off the floor, and then they break up with you the next day because they're like, this stuff always happens around you and what's something wrong with you. But you have no idea. No idea why I am the way I am. My gosh. If you only knew. So all I can do is tell you the best I can, please. It's real. Don't mess with it. You need Jesus. You need to focus on the eternal, your eternal destination. It's like saving a life insurance policy. It's like saving a retirement fund. You're saving for eternity now. You're living now for eternity, so you can live and retire in heaven for all eternity, not be burning in hell with Satan. And it's not just burning down there; they're tearing you apart. You don't even want to. It's unspeakable torment, unspeakable stuff. I don't even want to think about it. It'll give you nightmares. You'll never sleep. So just trust me. Trust me. This stuff's real. I don't know what else to say right now. Just, we need each other. We need to band together. We need Christ first and foremost. Without Him, we're never going to make it. And we need to make it to heaven. And without God, you're not going to make it. Without Jesus, you're not going to make it. And you need to have a different aspect in life and get ready for tough times ahead. We've been saying this for years as preachers, but it's here now, and you see that now, and it's gonna get worse. You have no idea. You wouldn't even believe it until you see it. So I'm not even going to tell you what's going to happen because you're not going to believe it until it's here. And you're not going to be able to really prepare for it without Christ. Christ helps you to prepare for it. You're not going to be able to survive without him. There's going to be things happening in life that if you don't have God and his angels with you, watching you in the supernatural, you're not going to be able to know when to run, what to do, what to stock up on, where to go. You're not going to make it. So this life was never meant to be lived by yourself. Life was always meant to be shared between you and God. It was never meant to be lived on your own. Why do people, you wonder why you're so miserable in life, because you're trying to make all the money yourself. You're trying to get success yourself. You're trying to do everything yourself in life, but this was never meant to be done just by you. You're putting a lot of burden on your shoulders, or on your husband or wife's shoulders, or on your kids' shoulders. You need to have God, and he helps you. He helps you get through. But it was supposed to be done with him. But when you try to do things without him, you're going to have to do it the world's way. You're either going to sell your soul to Satan, and he'll give you things easy and quick, but then you'll burn for eternity and he'll torment you. Or you'll, make an honest living God's way, and you ask for him to help you, and you'll see doors open that could not be opened. You'll live in the impossible. Like I said, I'm not promising you. If you look at me, you're like, I don't want to be like you. I mean, look how miserable your life is. That's my lot in life. That's not necessarily yours. God might have something better for you. Something different. Maybe a better house, maybe a family, whatever. Don't judge him or Christianity based on me and a few other people. There's preachers out there who are very happy and healthy and living in mansions, and I worry about that, but okay. And then there's people like me. We're all different. So your walk will be different with Christ. But when you're with Christ, everything you do will be important. It will count. And it'll be helping the kingdom, and it'll help your family, it'll help you. Please trust me on this. Start reading the Bible, even if it's just a couple lines a day. Pray. And when you pray, it doesn't have to be just formal prayers. I talk to God like I'm talking to you sometimes. I do my formal prayers, yes. There's a time and place for that, but a lot of times I just talk to him from my heart. With reverence. I'm not just like, oh, hey, Dad, no, I don't talk like that sometimes, and then I get rebuked for it. But for the most part, know who you're talking to, but also know that he's not so distant and so far removed and so holy that you can't talk to him now. Like he loves you. You have to have that personal relationship with him, and he'll do things for you. Just trust me on this, please. Try it. You got nothing else to lose and everything to gain. But I gotta go because my eggs are cold now, and I can't believe Donna's still sleeping. I gotta check up on her. And oh shoot, I guarantee I just burned my chicken. Yep, it's burned. Okay, well, I like beef jerky, chicken jerky, so it's gonna have to do. It's food, right? We just eat it anyway. At least I won't have to worry about salmonella now because I just cooked everything out of it, so maybe I can crumble it up and make chicken crumbs or something. It's not that bad. I'll tell you this much, it's definitely dead. Yep, chicken's already dead, Steve. Alright, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Alright, so everybody enjoy your day. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy the weekend. Go to church. Go do something for somebody. You'll feel better about it. I love you all. I thank you for watching. I hope I've helped you in some way. Maybe you got a laugh out of my ridiculous life. Maybe you learned something. I don't know. Maybe you just had somebody to hang out with for a few hours while I was just babbling on, so you're not alone. I don't know, but I'm sure it had its purpose for somebody out there. Have a good day. Love you.